before we start, let's all introduce each other. I'll go first. So I'm Himani, and I work as social media managing intern at Sobam Creatives. I had joined around in August, and I had a background in architecture, and I wanted to try newer fields to uh, go ahead and see how things work out for me. And that's about me. And uh, let's why don't you all also introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, my name is Chestra and I joined here as an social media intern and my profession is the digital marketing manager so I'm handling different niche of digital marketing and here I've joined because I think that my growth will get more nurture in the organization, the Soham Creative. I earlier also worked in the this organization with
Right.
Shubham sir and he's very cooperative in nature. So yeah, I hope that me and Himani will again make him proud by doing our work very effectively. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm.
Anshuman, you can also join.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can I introduce after 5 minutes? I'm facing some network issues, so yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. Sure.
yeah. Just start the just start this. I'm introducing myself after 5 minutes. Sorry.
Cool, cool, cool. No problem. So I think I'll go ahead with the presentation. Uh, just give me a minute. Is my screen visible?
You.
Okay. So yeah, so like we said before, this is about how to learn to make carousels from documentation. And the agenda for the day we'll have is we'll learn what the documentation is, how documentation works, and then we have Carousel. We learn about Carousel, what it is, and how the process works from converting a document to Carousel. And then we'll have a learning assignment as well, where you guys will work on your own carousels. And then that will be for today. And then tomorrow we'll have a discussion on what the assignments you have worked on, and then we'll have a Q&A session. Okay. Uh, so we'll begin with it. So documentation and what a documentation is. So documentation generally is, how we keep record of the data that we are working on. So it's like a diary kind of thing. So we have recording the details and processes of the system we are working on, or whether it is an assignment or it's a bigger software or data that you have been working on. You keep a record and tab of what the activity and responsibility is. So we can use this as a guide and reference of the activity that we have performed for later. So managing tasks will be easier when you keep tab of what the data and things you have worked on. So it would be return text usually, like in Word format. But apart from this, you can add graphs and charts and visuals as well to make it more readable. But currently, we'll focus on how we are working on in Sobam Creative and how the documentation tasks work. So one is, we have our daily documentation, a weekly documentation, and then we have our monthly documentation. So over here, what you can see is a snapshot of what I have worked on all the three different types. So daily documentation, like it suggests, it is keeping tab and record of the activity performed on that particular day. So if you see here, I have categorized it week wise, and the date and day is this is on that particular day. What are the activities done? So we have a like a brief intro of what was given that day, and then if there is an assignment, what are the assignments that has been worked on, and what the learning outcome has been on that particular day. So that is the daily one. And then we have a weekly one where we made in a weekly tab of all the assignments or work we have done. So that would be written day wise. So Monday in brief what was done, and then we have Tuesday in just in short what was done, and then maybe highlight by bolding particular things. So you know what is the most important, and then that way reading paragraphs also become easier, and that is how you document a weekly update. And then you have monthly update, so that will be split into weeks. So each week what was done will be documentation. Whatever you have done in that particular week, you will document. So you have week 1, and then week 2, week 3, week 4, so that will be for 1 month, and then so on for the next month. You will keep a tab of all the work. So now let's get into detail. So this is the particular day, right, that I have shown. So this is what you will do on your own because it's your task that you're working on. So you will make your daily tab of whatever you have worked on. Maybe for grammar check or easier management, you can use ChatGPT. Now what we are doing is we will use ChatGPT to convert this into a weekly documentation. So we how do you start it? Is you ask ChatGPT saying I want you to make a weekly summary, and it will be written in this format. You give the format that you want it to be written, and then you question ChatGPT saying I'm giving you data for this. Will you be able to provide a summary? And then you get a response saying yeah, I can provide the data, and I'll help you organize it in the format that you have specified. And then after this, you feed in this data, and then ChatGPT will give you this summary for uh, the weekly documentation, and you can keep note of that. And I'll be showing only weekly for now because that is what we'll be working on later on. This is about the documentation. Is everybody clear on that? Are there like any questions or something that you would want to ask?
I think it's clear.
It's clear. Okay, then we'll move ahead. So next we have Carousel. Okay. Um, what is the Carousel? We all know because we use Instagram as well. So Carousel. Hello.
Yes, yeah, just a suggestion that go slow with the slides and take time to explain as well.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
We have enough time, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so about Carousel. So Carousel we know is a format of putting data on a page. Carousel is a template on its own. So what it does is it allows you to use up to 10 photos or videos in one single post. So you can have multiple posts and videos. It can be mixed media also. You can have images and videos both combined in one carousel. It can be in a GIF format as well because that is also allowed. And it allows interaction as well uh, to the user because the user will be swiping through each of the post, and then it keeps moving forward and forward. So one best advantage of using a carousel is you can have a good storytelling format. So because of the way you have arranged it, it creates an interesting narrative that you can represent and showcase depending on what the data you have presented. So that is one. So because you use carousel to tell like a sequential story, or you can like share a journey, you can represent different part of this narration that you have in many different formats. So either it can be a tutorial or a guide, where you have like a step down and breakdown of how particular thing would work. So you'll have a step by step instruction going on through each individual slide. so it can become a very good educational or instructional content. And then apart from that, you can have people, brands, that they use this also for product showcasing. So over here what happens is, in each single post you showcase your particular product, and if it is one single product, let's say maybe water bottle or something, then you showcase that product in different angles, and you showcase particular features. So each post will showcase particular feature of the product, and that way you can have a good ad as well for your brand. And then other thing you can use Carousel is to have event highlight, maybe like you show, if you have a special occasion that you have, then you, in each slide you show some special moments that has taken place. And then some of them use it for code or text based content also, to make it more interactive and you get general audience as well. Other best thing, good thing you can use Carousel is to showcase your portfolio, where you have your list of works that you have done, and you can like arrange it in a particular format to show your improvement or show your style of working. And then other thing you can do with is, you can have collaboration and partnership as well when you're working on Carousel. So that is an added advantage as well. And another format to use Carousel is, you can provide multiple options, like a questionnaire or a poll, and then you can make it even more interactive to with the audience. So that way, you will get more reach and engagement with your audience. Is that clear? Like, do you have any doubts or anything maybe now?
No, no.
Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead. So yeah, let's go through an example of one carousel. So this is one really good example of how a carousel is. So I will tell you what are the different parts that one carousel has. So over here we have a title slide. So in title slide you give the information to the audience that what the carousel will be about. So in this context, the user has written how to find your niche. So this way the audience knows what the carousel is going to be about. So now he puts an introductory post as well. So the next post that comes is, you may be worried about finding your niche. So, so here you're making a connection with the reader or the user and the audience. So niche is a concept which is needed for every brand or every account that Instagram uses. So this is a problem that he is trying to solve by helping out the audience. So over here, you engage your audience by having an introductory, simple, small statement or a question. And then after introduction you have list. So list is whatever comes after the introduction. So over here what he is doing is, now in third page you can see he has written, you want to differentiate yourself to get a ton of followers, to become a leader and make a load of money. So this is a statement put across. So what happens here is, the users when they read, they start formulating opinions of their own. Either they would agree to the statement or they would not agree to the statement. Because since it's not a question, it's not going to be a yes or no. It is put as a firm statement, so it is most likely going to be yes. So the user has formed an opinion that yes, I want to differentiate, and the statement falls true to me. And then they go to the next slide, and then there is this statement saying, this is selfish. So now the opinions of the reader is going to change. It is like, okay, so what I'm thinking is wrong. So why is this selfish? Also, he has stated over here, because this is a superficial approach, it is going to lead to future stress. And why am I here? So this way the user know that whatever they were approaching with is wrong. So, and then we go on to the next slide. So you have to post unselfish, content instead of whatever you were doing. So in this next page, he has stated a solution. So the now the user knows what to do right. And now later, continuing with the list, he has written how can we be selfish. So he's giving tips also for the user on how to do it the right way. And then you move on to the next slide, and then there is three things. So we know there are three things, and he's explaining the first thing. First thing is, you have proper understanding, and then he has explained how do you do that. You dig beyond the surface level, and why would you create the content. And then you go on to the next slide. So you have a second point, which is unselfish action. And then he says, be a positive force for a change, create content to actually help. So this is the second point. And then over here, what he's doing is he's explaining the second point as well. So we have covered 8 slides so far. To till the eighth slide, what has happened is these are lists. Now, after the eighth slide, you have two more parts. You have one conclusion slide, and then you have one CTA slide. So, in the conclusion slide, like he had listed before, you have to do these three things. Those three things are going to be mentioned finally in all in one page. And the third point, which was not mentioned before, is also added here. And then it's explained: be focused, pointed, and rational in your communication. So now we have a conclusion slide where the audience finally knows so how to find your niche was the question, and now we have a solution to that question also. So do these three things. You have a proper understanding, unselfish action, and then you have truthful speech. So he has narrated that question in a good storytelling format where he engaged the audience with opinions, and then he said what was wrong, and then he gave a solution, and then he gave an execution for the solution as well. And after this, you have a CTA where it is like the final slide. So over here, he's telling if you do this, you will be able to find your niche naturally. And the call to action he has provided here is save this for more tips. So that way, he also is getting engagement with what is the content is. So he also gets engagement, and then user also gets a content that is very informative. Um, Everybody is following through, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Now, yeah, now we can like look at few of the references. So Annalise is one user who is known to make really good carousels. So I will be sharing these links later on in the group, so you can use that for references later as well. So we can like quickly go through maybe one of her works. So this is brand strategy building blogs, what you need to succeed, and then you can see how. Sorry, she is going to work on it. Uh, we have her intro slide, and then over here she's going to have six more slides. So you can here there are six essential building blocks to getting a successful start without offering brand strategy to your clients. So we know that there is going to be six topics coming forward. So we have one facilitation, what facilitation is, and then list of it. I'll go through it quickly. So facilitation is one, then research is second, so framework is the third. So over here, what you can see also is how she has formatted it well. So these components of it, I'll be explaining it later on. But you have her branding that is there below, and other thing is how she has aligned the content as well. So it's all left aligned, and facilitation is along the same line. So on the same line is only where she's explaining the research as well. So the continuity of the carousel is also maintained. So we have research second, so that is one, and then we have framework, which is third, and then there is her fourth solution, which is roadmap. Then fifth one is offer, and then sixth is sales. So this is all the solution that she has provided. After this, now we have our conclusion slide as well, where she has given a summary of all of it, and then we have her call to action. So in call to action, what she's doing is she's asking to sign up for her workshop, or getting 50% off on her content. So if we use her code or something, we will get a discount on her product. So this is one great user, and this is the other person, uh, creator of fuel. uh, Over here also there are like different ways. So one thing we can see is they haven't used 1:1 ratio, but a 4:5 ratio. So this format allows more text to be fed in. I'll like show a comparison later on so that you'll have a good idea. So this is, seven fresh ways to emphasize text. So over here, he has like used, a simple image with like monochrome color choice as well. And then there is branding elements also. So we can go beyond simple bolded or highlighted text. So let's have some fun styling. So now we know there is going to be more options provided over here. One of the option is adding a fading highlight. So these are, simple solutions which are in each slide shown in a very readable format. So we have one, and then we have other one, stroke, remove fill, and voila. So you know what the process has happened. And then we have gradient with an example. Add a gradient, and the gradient is shown with the example. Then we have radial gradient. So the color format has been changed to show the emphasis of how different color palette will work on each slide. And the text also is, showed in a radial gradient. So we have central brighter, and then it's radially moving out around the texts. You could also change the typeface entirely, and then he has shown with the example of how that works as well, and emphasize with the online icons. So, and that is also like shown with emojis and different font size, because emojis are going to have rounder and squarish format. So the text used over here is also in that particular typeface. And then we have circle words, what you want to amplify. So the moment we first saw this, we focused on amplify. And then we have his CTA. Since this is, step by step working, there is no particular thing like a conclusion page, because it is just shown as, guidance. So over here, the CTA is free layouts link in bio. So the call to action is go check out the link in the bio. And then we have Kisco Pop. We'll go through one of hers. So over here, she has used, 1:1 ratio, unlike the people before. People before had used 4:5 ratio. And then, we have her branding elements written below.
I'm
Uh,
having one question.
yes, yes.
तो एक्सपेक्ट रेशियो जो होता है ये मतलब कैसे डिसाइड होता है 1:1 एंड 4:4 का?
वो कंटेंट के ऊपर जाता है। अभी इन्होंने लाइक दे रेगुलरली यूज अ 4:5 फॉर्मेट, सो आई थिंक दे हैव फॉलोड दैट कंटेंट.
ओके
Instagram's general grid layout is, 1:1. So even if they have used 4:5 over here, you can see you only are able to see a part of it. So over here, what happens is
या
their branding is there, right? That goes on top and bottom. So when the grid shows up in 1:1, you only see the content and not the brand. So that way, organizing in 4:5, that is one added advantage. Versus in 1:1, usually what happens is you can see the branding below over here.
ओके
And then in text format, 4:5 is more useful. Like you will see with an example later, I'll explain that.
गुड गुड
Okay. So yeah, so this is another example where 1:1. So this person has used a bright background. I think that is, and then a readable white colored text. Um, Here's how to write as your brand persona. So there is an introductory slide over here. The task: using a headline, introduce Ash, a pen to consumers. Also, this is like giving one simple guideline of how you have to do. I'm so sorry. Um the innocent. So as you can see, she has given nice title also of what it represents: a pure soul that sees everything, voice humble, positive, and honest. So what the tone of this is suggesting. Then here is an example: achieve pure writing with Ash, a sincere way to express your thoughts. So whatever she has written below before, she gave an example for that as well. And then we can see she has three color format: orange, yellow, white. Yellow is over here right at the point. Uh, Then we have her next step, that is, have this thing of sage. So in the this caption also, she has written, the innocent sage and explorer are my darlings, and here they are in action. And then she's explaining that as well. So we have the topic, what it is, and then an example, and then what the explorer is and how it is, and then we have the example for that. And since she had already mentioned in the caption, she didn't particularly have a conclusion slide. So over here is what everything, uh, the conclusion basically is written here. So that is like the intro and end. And then we have her conclusion page. So her city is like, if you learn something new, follow if you get a value. So like and follow is her call to action. So these are the three good references. I will share these links with you soon. Yeah, now let's get into features in a carousel. Now we have seen four examples of a carousel, and then let's get into what are the features in it. Um,
Hello, am I
one, we
audible?
obviously, yeah, you're audible now.
Yes, yes. Okay, before we continue, you want to share any experience about how they are using Carousel, or if they have experienced Carousel in their work or in their social media, if they have created or they have followed some creator who's using Carousel or something.
Yeah, guys, have you guys used carousel, or like do you follow people who use carousels?
No, never
Oh,
did that.
okay. Chester?
Okay, okay, cool. No,
Am
okay,
I
guys,
audible?
you can continue. Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then I'll go ahead now. So let's get into the features of a carousel. So we have background. Like I explained before, there are two ratios. You have 1:1 ratio, and then you have a 4:5 ratio. And these are like the ideal margin necessities. Like leave 60 pixels on left and right, and at least 100 pixels from top. So that way it doesn't feel very cluttered. So we have darker backgrounds, plain backgrounds, then we have gradient backgrounds, and then you also have textured background. So background is your choice uh, of the brand. Then after background, then we have a title slide. Now let's analyze all these, different types of title slide. So we have five of them in 4:5 ratio and one in a 1:1 ratio. So if you see the first one, there is, choosing typeface and full stop. So it is one simple thing. So it's a simple statement, two-word statement, where we know that the content ahead will be going something that is going to help us choose a typeface. How to find your niche? We have done a big like breakdown before. So if you see the way he has arranged it, how to find, and your niche is highlighted. So we know the content that is coming further will be about my niche. As the reader, I know it is going to be about my niche, and what is it going to be? It is about finding it. And then the creator has put their photo as well to the side, and then they have arranged the text to the left side. So over here it's written for creators, and then you have start, and then you have brand. And then this is another title slide by Chris Stowe. So it is about how to get booked as a public speaker. And over here you see it's written one on out of two. So we know this is the first of the two parts that is present. And then what the creator has done is the creator has used a textured form of text writing. So that way it creates a certain difference compared to the regular text. So the moment you add a different feature, it becomes easy to read. So there is that. So if you see, all these three are aligned to the left and middle, properly aligned. So when it comes in the grid, it shows properly in the center. And now we have this other user who, if you read, the first thing you're going to read is box pattern. So now we know that the content is going to be about box pattern. And then later, if you the through the hierarchy of the text, we know it is going to be about how to create an awesome box pattern. And then background was done in Figma. That is what the creator has written. So over here you can see the background is a gradient color pattern with you know grid present at the back, and the grid is reduced through opacity, so the text is more readable. And the creator has also mentioned that this is going to be a carousel, and compared to the three things before, this is center aligned and pushed to the bottom because that is the template and the brand identity this creator wanted to follow. And now we come to other one, which is also in a 4:5 ratio. So we have 8 common freelance mistakes. So that is highlighted. That is the main topic. We know that the carousel is going to be about 8 common freelance mistakes, and it's also written in a different color, which is readable. And now we have these are some of the most common mistakes freelancers are making. So he has explained what the title is. Now, how many of your making is going to involve more audience to read through it, so that now if I am a reader, then I would also want to know if I am making these mistakes. So that way, a user is going to move through. So this is also kind of like a slide action, like swipe action, which I will explain later. So see, this start is also a swipe action. So we know that we have to move further. Uh, Now we have this one, 1:1 ratio. Congratulations to my first class of certified brand strategist. So we know this is a congratulation or celebratory post where she's appreciating to her first class of students who she taught a brand strategy. And then she mentions how I'm so proud of each and every one of them. They have all worked so hard. So we know it's going to be like a snippet of the content or the workshop that has been conducted. And then we have the picture of the creator to the left as well. And then the text is also aligned that way, left and top, and then that is balanced by putting the image on the bottom right. And then we have a brand signature of our creator. That is the title slide. And yeah, these are the swipe elements. So where you put an arrow or you write swipe, or you can put start, you can put page number as well, 15 out of 21. So this way the reader and the user knows that there is more slides coming up. They wouldn't just stop reading after one slide. So you have to engage the user. If it is a complete statement as well, even if it is a complete statement, you need to put either of these elements so that the user knows there is more slides coming up. So that is swipe element. And now we have branding element. Branding element is the brand identity of the creator or the brand that is making the content. So we have different formats. So the one we used before, so if we want to go back, so you see here the future, there is one on top, there is one on bottom. Over here also there is Michael Janda has one on bottom, one on top, and then rest of them have one single thing. So let's zoom in on that. So they have the future, the brand, and then 23 the year written, and then there is copyrights saying all rights are reserved of the post to at the future the company, posted by Chris Doe. And there is one like brand signature kind of image. Then we have Michael Janda who has written his name over there. 8 common freelance mistakes is the topic that he's explaining, which will be shown further on in that corner so that we know what the content is about. And then at the rate more Janda is the handle. And then we have 001. So we know there is more slides coming up. Then we have Adrian, who uses this format in their posts. We have an emoji at the rate and then what the name is. And what Annalie does is a simple signature with the name written. And the SS is written in an interesting format, to create some kind of difference, to probably, be different and unique. And then we have Ismail, who has written the name first and then the at the rate handle with the photo on the side with the curved rectangle around. So these two have a similar curved rectangle format. Only thing is they swapped the order of writing. And then we have Alexander Hess, who has an image, profile image, and then the name and the at the rate handle written. So after this we have list. So list is, like I explained, the component of the carousel which comes after the first page or the intro page. So this is just an example of a list. So where you see you know that there is going to be more and more slides by this slide element. This is third of 10th page. This is fourth of 10th page. And then when they write the listing also, project, so define your project. So when they're giving suggestion also, you have one small title for that page, then you have a subtitle, and then you have small guidance. So that is the template the user has followed, so user sorry, creator. And yeah, after that you have the conclusion page, which is also called as the summary page. So if we see Adrian's was a tutorial. So Adrian's conclusion page was final step. What you have to do is you have to play around with your rectangle size and color. So that is like his last step of explanation. So because it is a tutorial, it reads into last step, and then add some light gradients to enhance the effect. So we know what to do now, what the final process or what the final result is going to be on his summary page. Now, other thing by Adrian as well. Read the entire chapter. So what he had done is he probably gave small just into what the guide would be about, and then this has also become like a call to action as well. So if you read the entire chapter, you will get more data. So he has given detail as well. It's 150 plus pages of design and 770 pages of everything you need to know to design mobile apps. And then he didn't just stop here, because this is already acting as a call to action for reading the book. He has also mentioned there is more on next page. So that way user wants to know, there is curiosity, so they want to know what is more information, and they will move to the next slide. And then this typeface tutorial summary is create mockup to test font before finalizing your choices. So the format over here is interesting. So the what to say, the opacity used over here on the text creates a hierarchy of reading. So we know that we have to test fonts before finalizing. So that is the main topic that has been highlighted. And what it fully says is you have to create mockup to test a font before finalizing choices. So now we know what the carousel was about. And then we have our CTA. CTA is also call to action. So call to action is when you want a user to perform some kind of action to give you engagement and reach. So that could be like for more, comment more, save for more, and so on. Or it could be promoting a product. So over here, there is stay tuned for part two. And then he has also put a question, which would mean people will want to interact with the brand or the creator. So over here, the audience is going to start commenting. And this I have explained before. The CTA is save this, and over here this user, what they have done is they have given a snapshot of the Insta page. So we know that the user is very authentic and it's not some kind of doubtful act or something. And then it's written tap here to follow. So since they have seen the snapshot of his profile, people are going to have trust in him and they are actually going to go ahead and follow the creator. And then we have learn how to create a successful creative business. And then there is like promotional ads. And over here action is learn more at michaeljanda.com. So he's going to get traffic into his website over here. You got next, join our free Facebook group. So over here the CTA is uh, inviting people to join the Facebook group. And then this is a different kind of CTA, DM or comment future to grab one of the last tickets or follow link in bio. So over here, again, it's creating some kind of interaction with the users and the audience that they are uh, catering to. And then the other form of CTA is where you promote, make a promotion or market your books. So for here you can over here you can see there is 30 to 40% off on all the ebooks, and then there is this snapshot of all the images, and then over here the creator has written grab one ebook and get 50% off on new Figma course. So there is traffic generated into the ebook, and then we also have like leave a comment and save as well. So you have CTA clearly mentioned over there. So this is the last slide of what are the components in a carousel. So anybody has any questions over here?
I think I'm clear.
Okay, okay, cool. Then we will go ahead. So like the agenda was to learn how to convert the documentation into a carousel. So let's get to it. Now we have this, this is the weekly summary that I had created, right? So this is that. And how we will be converting is we will take help of ChatGPT. So over here, I will give you details of the first week of summary, and I'm telling ChatGPT what I want ChatGPT to do. So you have to give me a 10-page carousel. The title is week one and give proper intro, list, and CTA. So I have given the format for the carousel, and then I fed in this data over here, and then ChatGPT generates this format. So you have titles like caption is also given and what the content is. Then page two also, it says page two is introduction. So what will it be? Caption or the thing that is written over there. Navigating a week of learning and growth. And then it did this breakdown, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So those are the 4 days I had worked on the week. And then work highlights. So what was the key achievement of the week? And then reflection. So maybe what share personal learning and growth and achievement that has happened. And then page 10 is a call to action. So what's your week one story? So the point of this is whenever you make carousel to convert from documentation to carousel, we are going to take help of ChatGPT. We will feed the data into ChatGPT and take help from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is going to give this layout with what you can work on. So and you don't have to necessarily follow exactly what it gives, but it gives a brief outline, so you have an understanding of idea of what things can go into the data, and then you can change the carousel content accordingly. So this is how the process is going to be. So this is for weekly one. Now, before I get into the weekly carousel, I will share with you a few of the things I have worked on. So, these are few of the daily carousel that I have made. So, this is, in 1:1 ratio. And then over here, what I have done is all the daily documentation that I had done before, I converted each day's work into carousel as well. So this is for the first day. Hey everyone, today I'm here to share my exhilarating first day at Sovereign Creators, and then join me on this adventure. And then I will go through this. So over here I mentioned that you know what the further carousel is going to be about. So I'm going to tell how I went from architecture to becoming to joining into social media management. Then how the things worked out. So I was introduced to Sobam creators, and then how we got to diving in into creating different things, which is not what was a part of my background. And then how the day went. How was the first day? There was interactions and understanding of each person working on in the company, and then how we got into working on our particular field, and then how the work culture is, and how the different platforms work, and whatever goes on with the team, and how the processes are, and then what the projects was that was introduced to me. So one was Event Buddy, one-stop marketplace to find organizers, vendors for events. And then the other project was Foodie Swipe. So I mentioned that. So these were the projects that were introduced to me. And then after that, what we did is, used up, signed into different platforms to understand the workflow and be more creative and efficient. And I am excited to witness the progress in this new journey. Each step forward is a step for success. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on your first days. Drop a like and comment. So this is the CT action. So this was the first time, like I was, creating a carousel. So you might feel the format is different as well when you see the upcoming carousel, where I refine it more and more. Um, Sorry. Okay, yeah, now we have day two as well. So over day two is divided into three parts because the content was a lot. So we have day two and part one basics, and then I will quickly go through. So it was about choosing a niche. How to decide on a niche? We have three options, and then how to define an audience, and then the options, and then I'll like quickly go through it. Crafting a positioning sentence. So this is like a steps to help the user choose a niche. And then we have the next category is Instagram username. So that's the main title over there. And then what the guidelines are, and then how to optimize your username. And a simple process for that is also given. And then structure for optimizing your bio. So this is profile optimization and the process is to do that. uh, and then this is the structure as well, with an example given so that it becomes more readable and understandable. And profile picture tips, readable, personal, taken inspiration from niche accounts. So this is the last slide because this is a steps and process of how things work. There is no particular conclusion page per se, so it's just the tips going on through each slide. And then share your branding journey. So we have our CTA slide, comment with one key takeaway, and then I have used different emojis as well. So these were all like experimental phases of testing how carousels work. And you can see different branding methods I have used over here, and over here it's different as well. And then, yeah, same thing. So this is part two, and then you can see the format change of aligning text and arranging the data as well. So what are the key elements? I have started to use icons here as well, so that it becomes more readable. And what are the softwares to rely on? And then what is the post template structure? And then give a brief about it as well. And then we have content structure work background. So whatever I explained right now, how to make a carousel, it's that over here in a visual format. And then we have typography tips to work on with the carousel. Uh, it's written in small bullet points, and then we have do's and don'ts. So over here I have highlighted all the essential parts. So we know readable, so it has to be readable. Alignment to the left because it's easier to read from left to right. We are used to it. Apart from aligning it to center and right, usually distorts the arrangement on the sheet, unless it's an absolutely necessary format or design choice. It would be better to align things to left. Then avoid dark on dark text and use one font, use two weights. So you know how to work with while you're designing. And then use image, color, and resources. So that's the title, and then I have written how to use it as well. And then the second part of the same topic is softwares to rely on. And then content for growth, how do you do it? You have your steps of working on it. And then CTA is comment below your favorite creation step and go to software. And then this, for CTA action, there are just emojis. And then, anyways, I had written comment below as well. So there is that. And then we have part three of day two, understanding the algorithm, and how what does it depend on. Then factors influencing algorithm growth. So over here you can see the data is getting concise and it's becoming more readable. And because this is also written in bullet points, and then there is different in font alignment and use of italics to show the hierarchy of the points as well. And then best time to post, three main points with three different, each of them having sub points, and there is enough gap put as well to make it more readable. And there is enough white space provided over here as well after making it left alignment, so that way it's easy on the eyes. And then we have isolation effect and how to do that. The process is listed below. And then how to create a content momentum, and then we have steps for that as well. Then Instagram insights and analytics, and then you can see how the format I have put out. And then Instagram story hacks and common mistakes. So this is like the last conclusion slide. And then we have drop an emoji. So this is like a different form of using CTA. So instead of just commenting, you just ask the user to drop an emoji, and then you're asking them to follow if they want more. Over here, there is both. There is 9 out of 10, so we know there is more page, and then we also have this in put in a big arrow in a readable format, so people will move to the next slide. And then we have third part. So over here you can see the content has started becoming more and more concise. So there is main topics being highlighted. I have highlighted that, and then I have used hashtags on the post as well, different hashtags. And then this is a new format and how things started working around, and then using snapshots as well, so that way people know the what and how is the process of work that I am doing over here. And then the websites, and then a list of websites. So it's put into different alignments and making it more readable. So this is in a grid format, simple, aligned to the right, and then websites and blogs. So people are preferably going to read this in very easily. And then again, as you can see, the format doesn't switch a lot. This is in a list format. So because it is in square format, you have to see, because when you put more text over here, you might have to adjust the font sizes accordingly. uh, then over here also how the key points of branding, and then put example of brand. So brand is written in a readable format, and then we have case study, so people know key point and case study was done, and then it was for these particular brands. Then what I had done, and then a snapshot of how I have worked with understanding the two brands, and then a conclusion slide. So over here, there is a proper conclusion slide on brand identity. So personifying brand identity involves audience engagement and needs. So that is the conclusion slide for the topic work being worked on day three. And then what did we finally understand is put on CT as well. Today we understood how to humanize a brand, and then we have a follow for more put across for a call to action. And then similarly we have a day 4 of the week, team meeting and tasks, how the day began, and then what the task was to make content calendar and handle posts. And then how over here, I have used Google Docs and Google Sheets to work on. And then again list of websites which I went through for references, and then the examples provided with images, and what a content calendar helps with, written in stepwise format, and then a snapshot of a draft calendar that I prepared that day. And then to create a layout and manage, you have to follow the steps. And then easier way to manage calendar would be to use a spreadsheet and to organize. So over here, highlighting easier spreadsheet organize. It's understood that using spreadsheet makes it easier to organize. And then people who are into reading will read the full content, but the priority of making carousel and putting data is it has to be readable. Not everybody is going to read from top to bottom, so that way making highlighting few important things will make it scannable and readable to multiple users who are not very into reading, because visual aspect is one thing very important while making a carousel. And then again, today's learning, what was it about? Content calendar, and then follow for more updates. So these are what I have shown are daily documentation. Now we'll come to the weekly one, which is the main focus. Um, One second. Oh, Sharon has joined the call. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Sharon. Welcome.
Hi Himani, sorry I was not able to connect.
Yeah, it's okay. So, thing is, we had begun work like with the presentation. So, I'll be continuing with it, but then in the end, before like finally concluding, I'll do a run through so that you have an update of what we went upon.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, continuing with the uh, workshop. So, yeah, so like I mentioned before, we'll be working on the presentation of how to make a carousel for week one. And then I have put over here both the formats, week one and sorry, 1:1 and 4:5 format. So that way, you have an
Mm-hmm.
idea how things work. So this is the title page. Over here you can see week one. It's going to be about week one. And then here's how my uh, first week of as a social media managing intern played out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then join me on the journey. So over here we have a CTA as well. So you can see the format over here being different for both. Now let's
Okay.
move to the next page. So you see over here when you have, uh, I can hear my echoes. So I think someone has to like switch off the mic. So sorry about that. I will ask if you have doubts. So that time you can unmute and uh, like ask. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, going ahead. So team meetings. You see how the format being arranged over here is different. So over here I have put in a paragraph format because there is not enough space to write it in points. But over here, if I had written in this paragraph format, there would be too much white space left out. So to balance it out, I have used a bullet point system. Now let's go to next page, introducing the format, so platform. So over here you can see, one, two, three, four, five, six lines, and over here two, four, six lines. But then the alignment over here is very, so here you can see it's following this diagonal line and then it's suddenly becoming short. But over here you can see it, continuously becoming in, it almost looks like it's a justified font. And there is that. And then let's go to next slide. So here also you can see, there are swipe elements. There is swipe elements of page number and then the actual swipe element as well. And then also how I have arranged the data. So self-reliant, professional. So that was the PDF guide that I had worked on. That is written in a paragraph format. And uh, then we have other format in 4:5. So that is written in bullet points because this format, in this format you can put length vertically as well. You can put content vertically as well. So let's go to next slide of both. So we have niche selection, branding, and both are written in bullet points as you can see, and all the points are highlighted. But then you can clearly see, the format difference. So the white space over here is less compared to the white space over here, and that. And then we have the next slide talking about brand persona and audience targeting. Over here you can see, it's almost, filling up the entire slide of the format, the ratio. And over here it is fitting in perfectly as well. It's not that it hasn't fit over here, but then this format is also readable, this format is also readable. It's just to showcase the difference in how you can work with both platforms as well. It's not that one is superior over the other. It's just that you have to organize your content accordingly if you're using such particular format. So over here also you can see, over here it's a 3-line explanation and then this has become a 4-line over here. And then we have 2, 4, 5 lines over here, and over here the same thing has become a 6-liner thing. So it shows the ratio and arrangement. And then both of them have, main points made into bold to make it more scannable. And then we have the topic of boosting digital market efficiency. So that is another thing that was learnt in the first week. So what I have done, I have emphasized the following for boosting digital marketing. So because these are simple bullet points, there is no particular things that is made into bold. So bullet points on its own is a scannable content, and then you can see the difference that looks in both the ratio. And then let's see, design tips of the week. So this is the conclusion slide. So what is all the things I have learned, and those are being put across as tips. So one is maintaining a consistent visual theme, and then other is using relevant visuals as well. Ensuring text is clear and legible. Consider adding a subtle background pattern and color for the visual interest. So this tips that I have used here, I have also used in the carousel, this particular carousel. So that way, the tips that I have listed here are reliable as well. So, and over here, you can see how the same thing looks different on different ratio. And then we have our CTA, time to share your takeaway. So, share your takeaways. So we are engaging the readers and users to participate, and then we have follow me for more. So that is another CTA that is being added, and you can see the two different formats over here. So we can make one small thing where you all can participate and work on it. So identify the elements. So anybody wants to start? What are all the elements that are there here? What is the first slide, if you can remember?
Title, body, and CTA.
Yeah, we have that, right? That is identified on the title slide. Then are there any elements that are there which we have used?
The start button.
Yeah, correct. So that is the swipe element that we have added. And then there is one more.
And the name of the page.
Uh, Name of the page, yeah, Sobam Creative. So we have used a branding element as well. So correct. So I think you have mentioned that, and that consistency is maintained across through all the slides. So we have, Sobam Creatives, myself, Humanity, who is, presenting this sheet, and then we have a hashtag as well relevant to that slide. And then you can see the swipe elements that I have used over here. So 2 out of 10 and so on. So we know that that is being used. So same thing is there across. And then this is the conclusion slide I mentioned. And then over here, doesn't like, do you want to point out what are all present in the CTA slide?
Takeaways and follow for more is the CTA first part.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
So till down, are you getting what she's presenting, Man?
Yes, Shubham.
Yes. I think disconnecting with something, but everyone on the same page. What she is explaining and whatever that she's trying to convey on this workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So just you have joined from the starting, so you can just brief about key whatever that happens. So sharing can also get a glimpse or some summary of that, what we have done.
The today what we discussed.
Yes, yes, kind of.
The overall summary is just like we discussed upon the carousels, that how carousels
Didn't
are
realize
there.
that.
How yeah. Pardon.
I had lost connection. I didn't realize
हाँ,
that.
आई थिंक आप चले भी गए थे.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize. I'll continue.
Yeah.
I'll
So
let.
basically, the Shubham sir was asking the overall summary जो अभी तक डिस्कस हुआ ना, मतलब क्या था पीपीटी में. तो आई वाज टेलिंग कि मतलब क्या क्या था ओवरऑल समरी में. इट्स ऑल अबाउट द क्राउजल, that
Right,
how you have to present the carousel, how you have to put the elements, how you have to put the CTA. So it's
right.
all about the around the certain scenarios which we have to take in consideration while making a carousel for a company.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. And was it clear? Was all the elements and
Yeah.
how to work on it clear?
For me,
Any
it was.
doubts? If you have any doubts or you want to have discussion or get into detail of something, we can do that now, because how the main topic has been covered right now. Like, I have covered all the things that has to be showcased for today. Anybody has any questions? Is it all clear? Would you like to give your input on what you have understood?
For me, it was clear.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone
Uh,
else?
Basically, I have a question. Like
Yeah, yeah.
अगर हम 1:1 रेशियो लेते हैं, उसका हाइट और विड्थ का जो पिक्सल होता है वो कितना क्या होना चाहिए?
ये होगा 1080 by 1080, तो ये ना इट्स एन एग्जिस्टिंग टेम्पलेट ऑन canva only. I can quickly show you that. So if you type over here, if you type insta post,
Okay.
so all of this was working on canva. So whatever you'll be doing later also will be working on canva. So you have a portrait format, which what I said is the 4:5 ratio, so that is 1080 by 1350 pixel. And then the square format is 1080 by 1080 pixel. So you have a
Basically, we get
template.
a basically we
Yeah,
get a predefined frame. Okay.
you get
Got
a
it.
predefined frame that would be ideally accepted on Instagram platform. So the quality, everything is like set on this template, so that will be easy for you to work with as
Okay. Okay.
well. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, one
any
thing I would just add here that
yeah,
it's not about the pixel size, but it's more about the ratio. So
ratio, yeah,
acceptable ratio in the Instagram is 1:1 or 5:4, and I think maybe 1.19:1 or something like that. Like that kind of
yeah,
landscape
landscape
that
format,
is
yeah,
also available. But 1:1 would work if you have more content heavy carousel, then you can go 5:4 as well. So
right.
that is fine, उसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. But when it's come to pixel size, so pixel size would be when you are creating that image and you are going to export that, make sure it has a in a really good clarity and really good visual. So 1000 by 1000 pixel, that is also going to work. Like it's not going to have an issue. But वो क्या होता है कि हमारी जो भी मोबाइल साइज है जिसमें कोई भी लोग पिक्चर देखेंगे, it's mostly 1920 by 1080, right?
Mm,
Width wise it's a 1080, so make sure that
right.
we are actually creating at least just with that pixel size. Otherwise we can do 2000 by 2000 as well if we use any other software like Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
Illustrator, and also Figma as well, so that is also fine. But minimum let's take it 1080 by 1080,
Right,
so our picture quality looks good. So that's the
right,
purpose. Otherwise, you can just if you just maintain the ratio, then pixel size is it's not a big cost.
yeah.
Okay, so
Cool.
Mm.
So, is this the template that we need to follow for designing the future post and all?
So yeah, so I have just run through the types of carousel template, and all of that is up to you. So uh, these are like the guidelines that are needed. So for example, so you have a title slide. So it needs to have a title, it needs to have a subtitle, and it needs to have a swipe element, so that your user knows that there is a content coming up. And because it is your content and your brand, you need to mention that as well. uh, that is essential, so that the user know
Okay.
who is putting the data. So the template and how you want to work with, that is up to you. I think, this meeting was recorded as well, so that will be shared so that you can run through. So maybe just once again I'll quickly go through, so that you have a brief of what we discussed. Uh,
Also, once they do that, I'll just add a comment one here
yeah.
that this workshop is on the like just the guidelines that how you can have your documentation. You can use chat gpt to create a content outline, and then you can use any visual design software like canva or figma, and you can create the carousel for yourself that you can
Okay.
use for your content marketing, like social media marketing for your own purpose, and maybe for the job or for the freelancing or some other way. Now, the all the things that Himani is mentioning, it's about the guidelines that what needs to be there and what are the key elements needs to be there. That means make it clean and simple, minimalistic. Also have a title slide which is big. Also go through those intermediate slide with some summary or some list, and end with a summary and then CTA, branding elements, swipe element, those kind of things. Means like those are the key essential things that needs to be there. So that what says explaining, explaining. So
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
can take this as a reference or the guidelines. Now template doesn't needs to be do same and same that we are looking here, but you can take that as a good reference. Okay.
Okay.
Now
Yeah, yeah.
after that, based on your preference or based on your brand, you can change color, you can change font, and you can change the visual as well, right? But this is kind of uh, key structure that what is following.
Okay.
Cool. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Shubham.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
So I'll quickly
thank
go
you.
through it so that you know what we have understood. So first was, explaining what documentation is. So documentation, it is, keeping a record of whatever the tasks you have worked on and whatever activities you have performed on either, particular day, week or month. And then we have three formats that we are working on over here. So we have our daily update, weekly update, monthly update, and this is the format for each of them. So daily is written on a daily basis, so weekly one is summarized for each particular day, and then you have monthly summary which is done on a split up into week base summary. And then after that you have how to work on it. So you have your daily summary, you feed that data into chat gpt, and then you give the format for it to give an output of a weekly summary, and then from there you get your weekly summary. So you, through ChatGPT, become more efficient and faster, and you can easily manage your data that way. So this is your documentation that you get. And then over here we are running on what a carousel is. Carousel, like it allows 10 photo and video in one single post. So you can have image and video, you can have your own storytelling format and narrative that you can use, which is unique to you. And then you have engagement by swiping action on the particular post. And then you can have different layout theme that you can work across through your carousel. And this is one example. So, you have your title slide, a very scannable title slide. So, you know what the uh, post or carousel is going to be. And then you have your introductory slide, which gives a brief of what the format further is going to be. And then you have your lists. So, lists is whatever comes up later. So, you have your main content put as a storytelling format as list. And then uh, you have, if you're giving a solution, then you do it in a particular format. So first step in one page, second step in second page, and third step in the fourth, next page. And then you have your conclusion slide, where you just briefly give a summary of what it is, or depending on the type of content, it can vary. Either you can have a conclusion slide, or conclusion slide will be the last step. If you are giving a tutorial, then final step will be the last slide. And then you have a call to action where you want your users to engage with your post. So it will be by liking, commenting, sharing, and follow. And over here, the CTA is save these tips for more.
Okay.
Okay, so that is that. And then these are few references. I will share these links in the group so that you can use it for reference while working on the assignment. And then now, so like I said, these are like the guidelines that you have to be using when you're working on a carousel. So one you have is you have background. Like I said before, you have two ratios. You can use color background, you can use gradient background, you can use textured background. So these are the options that are available, and you can explore more as well. And then we have title slides. So these are, you can see different types of format that is existing out there. But the main thing is, it has to be readable. So over here, even though the creator has put their photo on the right side, you can see how they have highlighted important things. So your niche is what is important, which is highlighted, and the title is how to find your niche. So you have to make it very scannable and readable. So over here also, textured text is used, and here also you can see hierarchy of alignment and font size and font type. Over here also you have a bigger font written here for the main topic, you have a subtitle, and then you have a uh, engaging comment as well. And then over here also different format, something to stand out, a subtitle, and then you need your branding element over here.
Okay.
uh, okay, and then you have your swipe elements. These are few of the options. You can try and use your own also if you want, but there has to be a swipe element is the point. And then you obviously have to have your branding element. These are the formats that were presented in the examples before. And then after that you have your list slide is whatever comes into the main post after the introductory, like I said. And you need to, again, so over here it has to be readable. You see, project, audience, style, weight, readability, license, it's all aligned in one line only, so that when you swipe it, there is some kind of continuity that has to be followed when you are making a carousel.
Yeah.
So that format following, in the sense, it has to be scannable, it has to be readable, and it has to have a sense of continuity when you're making the list. So that is another criteria. And then, like I said, you have your summary page. So that will be your final step, or you have a call to action to get into more. Or if you have a final advice, you follow this particular format. So there are different ways to make it more readable. So over here also you see he has written have fun. So this way I know that I have to follow his guidelines and then experiment and see how things work out. So that's why summary slide is important. And then you have your call to action. Call to action will lead you to get traffic either into your page. So this is one format which is very different that is followed. So where he's putting a snapshot of his Insta page, and telling follow here. And then over here they're saying join the Facebook group. So you have a traffic directed to a different site, and there is this thing like DM or comment this, and then you will get response. So there are different type of call to action. So call to action is where both of them are benefited. So audience also will have a profit, in the sense, if I do this I will get to know more. And then as a creator I also have a profit of getting traffic, reach, and engagement. So I know there is authenticity in the content. So you need a call to action. So these are like the main guidelines. And how do you convert documentation into carousel? So you have your weekly documentation, you feed that into chat gpt, and then you say, you know
Himani,
huh.
I'm sorry I was late to join the meeting. Please don't recall the whole meeting.
Okay.
I'm feeling guilty. Can you
No, no,
please
it's
share
okay.
this presentation with me? I'll just have a look and I'll ping you personally if I have any
Sure,
doubts.
sure. No, no, no problem. We are done. So this is the last anyway. So that's not an issue. The meeting is recorded also, so I think that will be shared with you as well, so you can go through that. This is like for everyone. So just like a summary. So you have your
Yeah.
this. You use ChatGPT. You give the data, and then ChatGPT gives you an output. So you have a general layout of how you work with. So you can use this to work with your carousel. And then after the data is given from ChatGPT, you can make your carousel, and that carousel is what I showed over here. So yeah, this, like I have shown in both the formats. and this is the particular layout and style that I have followed. And when you make yours, you are free to use your own. So that was the summary of what we have done, how to convert a documentation into a carousel. And now, getting into assignment. So one thing I need to know is, have every one of you like worked on making documentation? Like, have you maintained a tab of your works, and do you have a weekly summary made? Hello.
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 Oh, give
Hello.
your feedback as in yes or no, so she gets some feedback confirmation.
Yeah. Like, have you guys done, your documentation work either daily or weekly? Do you have it right now with you?
Yeah, on a daily basis, what we are doing, that is all added.
That is added, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So the assignment will be, uh, um, what I think would be better is for you to experiment by working on both the ratios, 1:1 and 4:5.
Yeah.
And this is the guidelines. And also, what you have to do is
Hmm.
make the carousel about your first week. So if you don't have your documentation, so I have explained, right, how to convert your daily documentation into a weekly documentation. You make that first for either your first week or whichever week. Ideal would be, take your first week. How did your first week go? Make a documentation for that, and then use ChatGPT to get a carousel for it, and then try working on it. And then, whatever the guidelines we have worked on, how
Hmm.
the format is: title, introduction, list, conclusion. So all of that data, you follow that, and create your own carousel. Like, you can follow your own theme, style,
Hmm.
template, and do that. All
Sure.
only thing necessary is all the relevant data has to be put onto the slide, that's all, and it has to be scannable and readable.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. You have understood that, right?
Yep.
And all those reference links for the Insta pages that make good carousel, I will share that like soon on the group.
Hmm.
And then, after that, after, I think it would be better if you make your like carousel on Canva, since we are like working on that. So it will finish fast as well, and then the discussion also, it will be easier if you do it on Canva. And after that is done, I that not now but tomorrow, like right before we join the meeting, maybe like 15 half an hour before, 15 minutes, half an hour before, I will share like a Google form where you all can put your links of the carousels that you have worked on.
Hmm.
And then we will have a discussion tomorrow around same time, like 11 a.m. I think should be okay, right, for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so that will be it. So that is our work for today. Hope everything is clear for everyone.
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So that's not an issue.
Okay,
So yeah.
everyone, I have shared the link with in our group about this presentation. So, like later on, you can also go through with this, and also there are few links for the
Mm-hmm.
like reference carousels, and also the work that Himani has done. There are on the presentation as well. So you
Yeah.
will have the access of this entire thing and all the slides in there. So yeah, and also for the assignment, yes, Canva would be more preferable, but just in case, like Serene and Anshuman, maybe you guys are from UI UX and may you have not used Canva, and mostly if you have more proficiency with Figma, then you are free to continue with that,
Yeah.
because like as far as it's it's about the uh, platform. It's not
Right.
about the tool. It's about creating carousel, not about the tool. So
Okay,
it's
Shubham.
manageable.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, anyone want to share any feedback or insight or anything you learn new things or anything that now this would be the good time. So it would be good for Himani as well to get some feedback and insight. So yeah.
It was overall good PPT. So the way she presented it was the points was very clear and up to the mark. So I understood everything.
Yeah. Thank you.
And same goes for me as well. So yeah.
Thank
Sharing any last comment before we conclude this meeting?
No, I think I've got an overall gist of how to design the carousel. I will try to incorporate all the points in the assignment and I'll share it for feedback from Imani.
you. Okay.
Thanks for the presentation, Imani.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, everyone. So we can wait for next 2 minutes. If there is no another question, then we can conclude.
Mm.
Okay, I guess there's no question. Then let's just conclude.
Okay, cool.
Everyone,
Let's
thanks
meet
for joining
tomorrow
and
Thank you,
then.
thanks
everyone.
for the presentation.
Sorry for
Yeah,
being.
no problem.
Bye.
I'll share the meeting recording in the
Yeah,
group chat. But
yeah,
Okay.
let's conclude. Thanks, Iman.
yeah.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.